And welcome back to Bonded Voices. Today we're going to talk about the futility of road rage. I'm Greg.
I'm Ian.
And this is Lauren.
So the topic today, I think we've all experienced in some way, shape, or form, and we might have caused it, or we might be feeling the rage. But I think this is a very relevant topic for us to talk about. Specifically, it's three guys sitting around having a cup of coffee. Our listeners might be guys. We tend to be a little bit more emotions on the sleeve and maybe do some things that we might regret.
I actually think it goes beyond just men. Like, I used to work with a girl who came in one day and she just brake checked someone into a virtual accident. And she was ready to throw down, chase them. She's that. Yeah. So
what's the mentality of someone? I'm going to brake check someone and I'm going to cause an accident.
But again, that's that road rage, right? Something trips in people, and whatever it is, you like.
But what is it goes from 0 to 100
instantly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Instantly, and there is no real reason. Oh, they merged ahead of me. I don't like them.
Right.
And have you ever noticed no one ever likes... You could be going the speed limit and someone's passing you at 5 miles an hour faster and you're like, I can't let them pass me. I got to go a little bit faster.
And so before we frame it, I think it'd be kind of funny if you are driving, listening to this podcast and raging at someone at the same time, send us a note because we hope it actually calms you down and stops you. So let's frame this.
Yeah.
So, okay, road rage. We've all done it. I think everyone's had that moment. But, okay, what do we ever gain out of it is the first question. What do you ever gain out of road rage?
High blood pressure, anxiety.
As a positive rather than negative, right? You know?
I can't think of any positives. The opportunity to have a great conversation with whoever was in your car when you lost your mind. And now maybe they're not willing to ride with you or doubting the relationship. So.
Teaching your kids awesome language.
Yeah. Is it more common to have road rage in the car on your own rather than with other people?
I would think so. I think there's a natural sense of responsibility that you're taught when you're first learning how to drive. No, you can't have any passengers in the car until you've reached a certain number of hours or experience behind the wheel. And the idea of I'm in control of this several 1,000-pound missile.
Yep.
That one would hope that the rage is less likely with a car full of people, or even just one passenger.
Yeah, I must admit, if I in times I've done it, I know that if there's other people in the car, I do it more covertly.
How do you covertly exhibit road rage?
You're like, hey, look over there.
No, well, because think of it like this. It can be hand gestures. It can be like you can shout out the window. But it's even the way how close you have your car to somebody else.
Sure.
The way you cut in front of them.
Sure.
Things like that. I've had people where I've been in the fast lane doing like 80. And someone will come up behind you as if they want you to get out of the way and there's nowhere to go. And when they get a chance, they go past you and they cut so close in front of you to give you the signal of, you just piss me off to make me... And you're like, well, I'm already breaking the law doing that speed. And you're freaking out over it, but they get so close. So the way the car maneuvers is another one of those ways people exhibit road rage. Flashing your lights. To a degree where it's like, what are you doing?
Well, I think there's certain roads in this great state that are designed better than others.
Yep.
And there are certain portions of the roadway that have, or certain drivers that love to hang out in the fast lane. And when you're in rural parts, it doesn't matter in this state, but...
winter here when we get snowbirds in town causes a lot of anxiety in driving.
So there's anxiety in the city, but what I'm thinking of is when you're out on the open road, and what I was taught was you stay in the right lane except to pass. So the left lane is to be moving faster than the right lane, but you spend time in the right lane until you're ready to pass. But then you run into situations where there's traffic jams because of those left lane drivers, and that's where you tend to see the majority, where I tend to see the majority of the rage, with the flashing lights, with the cutting people off, with the whatever that might be. But at the end of the day, to your point, what's the benefit? I don't know. Everybody gets there at the same time.
Interesting you brought up the which lane to be in, because in England, undertaking, not, and I don't mean digging graves, but undertaking, like going past you on the inside, is considered road rage. And you can't do it. It's actually, if the police are there, you get a ticket for doing it. You cannot undertake someone. So if people do it and there's no police around, people take it on themselves to get annoyed at you. And sometimes they'll then speed up, get behind you, as if to say, what are you doing? You're undertaking. And I wonder, it makes me wonder whether stricter rules of the road create less road rage or more road rage, because then you get those civilian police who want to make a point of pointing out to you,
you broke the law.
You broke the law. And I think it even goes as far as, if people have got their high beam on and they don't know it, like people like weave to show them, well, you got your full beam on. And it could be an old person just can't see, and they're like, I can't see what's going on. So yeah, I wonder if that's the case. Whether it's the difference in roads like that may contribute to it.
I have noticed in other states that are more strict in the enforcement of you stay in the right lane except to pass. And if you're caught in the left lane and you're not passing anybody, that's a ticket.
Right.
And those roads, I find much more enjoyable to travel on those roads, because there's a common mentality on the road, and they seem to flow traffic better.
Right.
Lauren, what say you?
I don't know. I was thinking about that. What you were saying, Ian, about people getting behind you and they're trying to be the vigilante. And you know you're doing it wrong, and they're actually causing more problems by doing that.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
And they're also breaking the law by doing it as well.
Yeah, but that switch is flipped in them, where they go from sane to insane. And part of me also wonders as well, because the cars we drive are just such powerful vehicles, the acceleration's exhilarating, increases adrenaline in you, that you also get a bit of that NASCAR driver feel, that then you get interrupted or you get bumped or close to bumped. Or
I think driving a car is independence, and so you're out there, you're being independent, and then someone's taking away your independence by going slow and making you drive not the way you want to drive.
Right.
I had the cruise control on, and now I have to take it off because this person's going 2 miles over the speed limit, and I want to go 5 miles over the speed limit, so I have to go.
Well, of course, nobody on this podcast would speed, but you're right. I think it comes down to competition. Like, how dare that person think that they can, whatever. There's a personal. They're calling me out.
They're saying I'm a bad driver because he passed me. Well, look at any merge, when you're getting on the freeway. Man, it's like bumper cars sometimes. People are like, you can't get in front of me. We're side by side. Come on.
It's one on one.
It should be a zipper formation.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. And no, I want to get up here because you kind of took half a second too long to go forward.
Right.
So,
and I think we've seen those videos, or we've all had the experience where there might be construction signs of some infraction that you're coming up on, and people wait to the last minute to try and merge into the lane that's already full. And I think the direction, at least where I feel this conversation is going over a lovely cup of coffee, is you're going to get there. Calm down.
That's where you've got to get to.
So I find when I get the most angry driving is if I'm late to something and I'm trying to get there. If I would have planned properly, left a little bit earlier, expected slow traffic, I wouldn't be mad. But I'm always like, okay, I have to go back to the house to pick something else up. They left, they left their ball, their glove at the house. So I have to go back to the house, go grab something or whatever it is. Is
another factor what you're listening to? I have found in earlier days, the more aggressive the music, the more aggressive the driving.
100% agree. Aggressive music is meant to get that adrenaline flowing and get your brain stimulated in that sort of way. Raise your blood pressure.
It worked.
Yeah. You know,
I'm not saying that from a sense of pride.
So we need to listen to elevator music now while we're driving?
Well, I think if it was more calming, you probably would drive calmer.
I listen to talk radio now. I mean, I think that dates me on how old I am because I never thought I'd listen to talk radio.
Right. But some of that can get you riled up as well.
True.
I have had an accident in the last couple of years, and I've been blessed to not have too many, that it was running late, like you were saying, Lauren. And we then got diverted, couldn't get on the freeway we were supposed to get on, and now it was going to take even longer. And I was like, go, come on, no, go, stop, go, bang.
Mm-hmm.
Couple of $1,000s later, and I just thought, I look back on that, I think to myself, how could I be getting so tense? But everything was working against me. Kid was running late, I was running late, the traffic was being diverted. It was like, this is not happening right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that everybody get out of my way, and selfishly in that respect.
It always seems like when I'm in a hurry, everyone else is, they have no place to be.
Yes.
And every light.
They're like,
stop for a Sunday drive.
I just got to be in my car. I'm just going to go down the freeway under the speed limit, and I have to be there 10 minutes ago.
So one of the things that when I've experienced someone that cuts me off or that appears to be distracted or trying to intrude on my personal space or showing me up, is that I've tried to visualize, I hope that person's not rushing to the hospital to visit a loved one.
Which is a great thought.
Good point.
I'm no saint on that because that's not always what I think, but I try to go that direction with, there must be something heavy going on in their lives that I just need to back off.
So let's think of the heaviness of road rage. I remember the last news story about it here in Phoenix was 2 women. One of them got out of the car, pulled out a gun, and killed the other girl. That's the last news story I remember on road rage. And I kept thinking to myself when it happened, what? Can you imagine sitting in a jail cell and thinking, I'm going to jail for the rest of my life?
Because I didn't like the way they passed me.
Right. And then we could take it with, can you imagine being raging and clipping a car and killing the people inside of it? Or there could be kids in the car.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's so pointless. So
at what point does the rage get so bad that you pull over and you follow someone and they pull over and you know you both pull over and you have that that confrontation? What level of insanity do you have to be at to even think, oh, you know what, I'm going to solve this problem by getting out of my car right now?
And that's never going to end well for somebody.
No. Never.
I remember growing up that there was, and this might have been wives' tales, but that some gangs would purposely drive without headlights on.
I heard that.
And then if you flashed your lights to let them know to turn on the lights.
It was an initiation thing, yeah.
Then they would chase you down and take you out of the gene pool.
Yeah. I remember hearing that.
And so I also try and think about, I have no idea who's in the other car. I don't know what their story is, and it's just so much easier to slow down, let them go. I'm going to turn off early. I'm going to whatever it might be.
Maybe it's getting older. I flash people who haven't got their lights on just to tell them you don't have your lights on. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not you with their headlights. Exactly. But I do it purposefully because I'm thinking maybe they don't know. Because I have auto on my headlights, but you take your car anyway, Valley Park, or even to the dealership, they turn it off.
Oh, yeah.
And so you're driving along going, is it just dark out? And then, of course, the police can pull you over for not having your headlights on, thinking you've either been drinking or maybe other things.
I had that happen. I was out of town visiting a family member and was pulled over. And the police officer said, "You know why I pulled you over?" And I said, "No, I don't know." And they said, "Well, you don't have your headlights on."
Right.
And I was like, "Oh, well, that's because I'm driving my wife's car, and my vehicle's very analog, and hers is very digital." And the officer was kind enough to tell me I was a ding-dong and turn the lights on.
Right.
After she checked all of my, make sure driver's license, insurance, all that stuff. But we also live in a town with a lot of winter visitors, with a lot of people that come in for a 3-day weekend, with a lot of out-of-towners driving rental cars.
Right. So I think we all agree, right? It's futile. You gain absolutely nothing. I don't think any of us have gone, I had a great day today. I chased someone down the freeway, nearly clipped them. Gosh, that was awesome. I don't think you're a pretty strange bird to go down that path. So let's give some tips on how you can stop once it starts, or even not even get into it in the first place.
I would definitely say take a little bit more time, get there earlier. Oh, and here's a quote. I'm just going to throw it out here. There's a quote that I found when we were going to talk about this. It's a quote from Marcus Aurelius. "How much more harmful are the consequences of anger than the circumstances that arouse them?"
And that's great towards road rage.
It is. It's right to the point. It's almost like it was written for this.
Yeah, because misdirected road rage is pointless. Now, one thing, and before we sort of keep digging into ways to stop it, a car is a deadly weapon.
Mm-hmm.
The only time I can ever be happy that I got absolutely mad about something is if someone came that close out of the blue to clipping you at speed, or they turned the corner right in front of you and they almost got you. That's the point where that would get my anger out.
But even then, is anger warranted in that, or is thankfulness that you didn't get in the accident?
Right. Well, if you remember, so New Year's Eve last year, couple put their kid in the car, mum's in the front, passenger seat, dad's driving, kid in the back. They take a turn onto one of our major roads. A truck obliterates them. It was just traveling at like 80 down a road that you do 35, 40 on. Killed them. Luckily, the husband and the baby survived. The wife died. The guy's going to jail for a long time for manslaughter, but aggravated because of the speed he was going. So it's all just pointless. And I kept thinking to myself with that situation, like, what could you have done for him to calm himself to the point of being like, 80 and a 35, maybe not a great idea.
But was that anger, or was that just recklessness?
I think a bit of both from what the news report was. So, tips for... And again, the stories just about the car being a deadly weapon made me sort of think of that. But, there's got to be ways, and maybe I'll start. I say to myself, what are you doing? It's that honest out loud. What are you doing? Who cares? Mm-hmm. If this person just cut in front of you, especially on the getting onto the freeway where they're supposed to go one, then the other, and I'm like, what are you doing? I'm not going to chase this person. I'm not going to flip them off. No.
Yeah, there's nothing to be gained.
Nothing. But there's got to be mitigation strategies. I think that we've all been there. Greg, what do you do?
Well, I mentioned that I stopped listening to my aggressive music.
No more Metallica while you're driving?
Yeah, which is great driving music, by the way. But just trying to your point earlier on the amount of damage that you can inflict in the blink of an eye that will change the trajectory of everybody involved, their lives forever. Trying to be conscious enough to think about the weight of that and how important this decision of, do I want to tailgate this person? Do I want to, whatever it might be, and realizing it's really not going to impact when you get there. And guaranteed, if you get in an accident or the police see you doing this and you get pulled over, you're going to be later than just slowing down and letting this all go. And so you show up 2 minutes
with
later.
the penalty for road rage now, a couple of weeks later.
Yeah.
What about you, Lauren?
I would have to, you have to sit back and think, are the people that you're mad at, are they try to put it in their perspective. Are they really trying to, get at you? Most likely not. They're in the same boat trying to get the same, or in the different car trying to go the same place, right? They're trying to get to their destination just as much as I'm trying to get to mine. So, cut them some slack.
What's interesting is you don't see this in the grocery store. You don't see people like cutting each other off with carts and flashing lights down the aisles. And so
that's a great thought.
Would you behave the same way if you were in shopping carts?
Is it the anonymized? You're in the car. They don't really know who you 100%. Are. They don't know if you're armed. Then you're like, I'm braver than I am because of what they don't know about me.
I've got all of this protection around me. To your point earlier, how much more powerful the vehicles are. I'm faster. I can brake faster. I have a superior vehicle.
Right.
That I can't be harmed.
Yeah.
I've got armor on.
Until you see those cars that are crash tested at 45 mile an hour and disappear.
Yeah, absolutely.
They crumple up into a Coke can that you just stomped on, and you're like, you would not survive that at all.
Yeah, I think people just need to take a deep breath.
Yes, deep breath's the first thing,
and then, change the station maybe.
Sure.
And just relax a little bit and realize you didn't do it intentionally to you.
Maybe even thinking about the worst case scenario out of this could calm you down. And then you'd realize how futile it actually is and that you absolutely gain nothing. Because I can't even think of one instance where you gain anything from doing it. It's all just futile. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the best you're going to get? Someone's you cause someone to cry because you flip them off.
Right, exactly.
What's that?
Or an old lady or something.
Yeah, what's the win there? There's no win.
Someone heading to a funeral. It's actually, and we'll wrap up with, I remember actually one day when my wife's father passed away, coming back in the car, getting her something. And I kept looking at the people around thinking, I'm dealing with this today, but on any given day, they could be dealing with a similar thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you've got no concept of what everyone deals with on a daily basis. It could be, put someone on the way, their kid in the hospital, or just something much worse. So, I think, for all the listeners, just take the moment to check yourself and just realize that you gain nothing from it. You're probably too good to go out of this world this way. That'd be my advice.
I don't think I could put it any better.
So until next time, we will see you again on Bonded Voices.
Thanks for joining us.
See you next time.